Hi everyone, it's Lisa, videotaping from my home again today. We are going to be making another craft that you should have supplies with or for at home, but inexpensive supplies if you do need to buy any. This is a sock snowman, and I'll give you the supplies list. There is a kit available for it. It is first come, first serve. So stop by the library and request one of those or request one via the phone. Again, this is our sock snowman, and I'm going to give you a list of the supplies. The first thing that you're going to need, obviously, is a sock. I chose white sock. I got these obviously in bulk, so there will be one of them in your kit. I also purchased a second set of socks from the Dollar Tree, and I used that one on this little guy right here. You will also need rice. You're going to need about 2 cups of rice. I saw some websites where it says 3 to 4, but my sock would not hold 3 to 4. So we went, I think it was about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of just regular white rice, uncooked. Other things that you might need are fabrics. I have these old discarded scarves that I was able to cut up, and I've used part of them on a gnome, which I will be giving the directions for here in soon. I believe that's next week. And then you can use any other fabrics that you might have as well, or none at all, which we'll talk about. You're also going to need scissors. You'll also need your handy dandy glue gun. I find it best to use a glass and a funnel. And I am using my measuring cup because it does have a spout, which doesn't make it that much easier, but in a way it does. So we'll see how many of those rice pieces I actually drop. Here are some of the embellishments that you might need. I used an orange marker for the nose. I used a skewer, although you could use a toothpick for the nose. I used a little bit of blush on this guy's face. I've got all kinds of buttons, embellishments, different types of eyes. We're going to look at those as we start constructing our sock snowman. I've even got some ribbon here that we can embellish with as well. So your embellishments, definitely. Now I'm going to put those to the side, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the process of making our sock snowman. I'll put him to the side. I took my sock, and I'm going to move that back so we can see, and I'm going to cut just roughly right at the heel, maybe just a little bit taller, but not much. So I'm going to cut right here, and I'm going to put that to the side because we can actually use that. The second thing I did was I made a funnel. I know there's a funnel here somewhere. I could not find it, so I just made one out of cardstock. That would be fun for your kids to make. We're going to put the sock in the glass. This just gives it a little bit of support. Now eventually I'm going to have to take that off of the glass and do it with my hands, just kind of mold it a little bit with my hands. Our next step, obviously insert our funnel. The spout on this measuring cup is very small, so I did have a little bit of trouble getting that in there last night. I use the end of it to kind of give me a little bit more room. Now, if I had a taller glass, obviously that's the best solution to this, but this is the first one I grabbed this morning. Miss Beth, our teen librarian, is also, I think she's already posted her video for the teens on there. I think all I'm going to need is 2 cups there. On their sock snowman that they're actually making as well. And her procedure is a little bit different. I know she does use a funnel. I think she decorates a little bit differently. But please go to her, to the Paris Bourbon County website or our Facebook page and pull up her video, because the one that she did turned out really cute. And the kids have an opportunity, or the teens have an opportunity to make one of those as well. Okay, so here is 2 cups. I still have a lot of this at the top, so I could put probably a 3rd cup in, but I'm going to go with 2 cups here. I'm going to move everything out of the way here. And the next thing I'm going to do, I really need white, but I don't have white. All I have is this very light gray. So I'm going to use it to tie off the top. I have actually used a rubber band on the top before. I'm going to go around this several times. You just need a really tight seal at the top. You don't want your rice coming out. So I'm going to wind that around there one more time and tie a knot. Actually, I'm going to tie a double knot. I need to decide where I want his head to be, or the top portion of his body. I like about 2/3 at the bottom and 1/3 at the top if possible. I also like to look at it. I want to give myself enough of a face to decorate. I think that right there is right. So I'm going to go ahead and take again a piece of my embroidery floss. And I'm going to wind that around there. You can use string. You could use a rubber band. Again, you know, whatever you have available. So there's our little snowman so far. Now, I can do one of 2 things. I can trim this and make it shorter, or I can use it and fold it down over the top and make a little hat. And there he's got his little toboggan on. From that point, it's really easy. I can embellish it. I could put some festive ribbon around it. So that he has a band. So at this point, however you want to decorate it, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the top part of my sock to make a toboggan. So I'm going to cut this. The excess is off. And this will now be my toboggan. And it also has a little bit of height to it, so I can easily tie that off with a ribbon and just put it over to the side. I could hot glue it to it or just let it dangle from the back. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's see. I intend to use this pattern on this snowman. So I really would like to incorporate silver and red and so forth. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ribbon and add it to the band. I'm also going to use some of my silver on the band as well. Excuse me. So with my hot glue gun, I'm going to put just a little bit on my, that's been sitting there a lot. That's actually more than I need. I'm going to use this end of my skewer so I don't burn myself. Now I put my seam on the side. I really don't think that you could see it, but ideally I would put it in the back. But I started with some hot glue and I had to get it on there very quickly. And I would still like to incorporate some of the red. Maybe right over top of it so you can see a little bit of the silver. So let's do that real quick. Just going to put a dab of glue there. My silver is moving on me, my silver ribbon, and I'd prefer that not to happen. Yeah, that looks really cute. Okay, there I've incorporated a little bit of my silver and a little bit of the red, as I mentioned. Okay, now I'm not putting this face on yet because I want it to be the last details. They're very small. I don't want to be able to knock them off as I'm working with the snowman as it is. Now on the end of this, I was left with, at the end of my scarf, I was left with these wonderful tassels. So I think I'm going to try to use a couple of the tassels to tie off the end of this. And I'm actually going to cut that just a little bit. These are whatever you want them to be. I'm going to use 2 of the red and black print. I'm going to tie the end of those together. I don't know how this will look. We'll just try it. There may not be enough of it. Cute. And there we go. Now we've got the hat. And let's get to the body. I pre-cut some fabric so I would be prepared, and here it is. And I also made a little scarf to go with this. So we're going to see how this turns out. This is something I've not tried before. Maybe it's not the best time to try it. It's on a demonstration, but we're going to see how it turns out. This is a woven fabric. The design is on both sides. It is not just a printed fabric, so that helps us. My thought is to include a little bit of a collar and a little vest on this guy. Something like this, but I do need to cut it down just a little bit. I'm going to round my corners. Very good. Now I'm going to hot glue in the front right here. I'm going to lap my fabric over. And over again. These are meant to be imperfect. Now, he needs either a button or an embellishment right here. So I have the silver, but that really doesn't show up. I like the red. Let's go with the red. Okay, looking good so far. I do have a scarf for this little guy. I'm going to need to turn him around here. Again, I'm hot gluing everything into place. Children love these, so they're likely to be handled quite a bit. Pretty cute so far. I'll tell you how I did the other one with the other sock in just a few moments. Just trying something different with this. Now, I found the Google eyes, the little Google eyes, were a bit much. So I preferred the sequin. I have some black sequin here. So I'm going to get, with the end of my skewer, a little bit of my hot glue. I do not really want to squirt it on the sequin because it will be way too much. Sequins are easy to lose. So let's open up our package and get another one. Again, I just want a little bit of glue. On the back of the sequin. And I'm going to put those eyes pretty close together. Guys, I'm not sure about that shirt, but we're going to go with it for demonstrations, just so we have a finished product. And then on the nose, I took a marker and I colored the end of my skewer or toothpick. I'm going to let that dry for a moment. I'm going to break off. I'm still struggling with my scarf that I made for my little snowman. There we go. I'm going to break off the nose part and add hot glue to the end. And actually pushing in a little bit. There's his little nose. Now he is a snowman, so he's out in the snow where it's cold. So let's put a little bit of blush on him. This is old and it's used only for crafting. We're gonna put just a little bit on the end of a Q-tip. Actually, I'm gonna wipe some of that off. Rubbing a little bit of that off, but we don't want too much. Now, unless we decide to do something else, because again, I'm not too crazy about my little vest idea, but you know, it works. It is a sock snowman, and that's what our intention was here. So, unless I decide to do an embellishment, for instance, here on the top, I do have these foam snowflakes that can go there as well. I even have a little bit of greenery that we could add to add to him a little bit more. So I'm going to do one more little embellishment to him. I'm going to cut this down just a little bit. A little bit of greenery. And I believe we're going to use the holly. In your kit, we also include embellishments. And there we go. That, I think, is our finished product. Again, not too happy about my plaid vest, but it's the finished product. Now, on this one, all I simply did was took my blue sock. I cut off the top part and pulled it up, allowing the top of the sock to actually make a little scarf or a little turtleneck around the sky. And then I cut the bottom of the sock off here, so that would be this part here, and I turned that into my toboggan. This one actually is not glued on, it just comes right off. I attached a jingle bell to the top of it, and everything else is what we have done in class today. You cannot mess these up. They're too cute, they're adorable, they're easy to make, and I encourage you to look through your sock drawer and see if you can't come up with enough supplies to make the sock snowman. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, check out Miss Beth, our teen librarian, and the video that she made on sock snowmen as well. Keep crafting.